Welcome back, everyone, to our Star Wars Plus live reaction show of the Book of Boba Fett, titled
Mutiny on the Bounty Hunter.
Last time on The Mandalorian, Book of Boba Fett. Yeah, that's totally what it was. I don't know if we should even count that as an episode, do you?
No, that was very much a Mandalorian episode, and it just tags in Book of Boba Fett at the very end.
As we said in the last video, we liked it. We liked seeing Mando again. We liked seeing how he's been doing since leaving Grogu with Luke. We like seeing all these answers to questions we've had since the last season. But it wasn't the right time or the right series to do it. Just a reminder, this is Book of Boba Fett, not The Mandalorian. And I get it, this is a spin-off of that, but come on.
It would have been one thing to have a little bit of him in there and continue the story of Boba Fett, but it's a whole nother thing to have the episode be completely about Mando and then only just tie in Book of Boba Fett at the end.
Yeah, again, it just shows the lack of faith the creators had in this series. It's already, I'm assuming, 1 or 2 episodes too long for the premise that is going on, and the fact that they have to get the main series that they spun off of to come in and intervene just to fill an episode, like, that really says something. But yeah, we ranted all about that the last video, so go watch that if you need a reminder. So today's episode, I'm slightly worried it might be the same thing. I assume not, because we only have 2 episodes left. And we know that Boba still has to gather his army to take on the Pikes. I believe, hopefully, we'll focus on him again, but I'm not holding my breath, because last time I said that, suddenly we got slammed with a Mando episode out of nowhere. I'm sure we'll find out in today's episode.
From the desert comes a stranger.
Oh no, that sounds ominous. Although technically, it's referencing Boba, too. What do you think about it?
I may have been partially spoiled when I went to look up the title of the episode, so we may have a certain character showing up, and if that is the case, oh boy, I cannot wait for your reaction.
For once, he got spoiled ahead of me, so yeah, this should be interesting. There are quite a number of characters I both like and dislike in Star Wars, so I guess we'll wait and see which one shows up then. So let's get started and see what happens when Boba amasses his army. And play.
In order to master the ways of the Force, Jedi must forego all attachment.
That is the opposite of our creed. Loyalty and solidarity are the way.
So how did Vizsla, the Jedi Mandalorian, reconcile those 2 counterpoints?
Tell him it's on the house. But first, I gotta pay a visit to a little friend.
See, that's what I'm worried about. Is he gonna visit Grogu, or are we gonna go with him to witness that?
Do you know where you are, gentlemen?
Oh, hey, it's
Yeah.
Marshall.
Think it through.
Wrong time to give up the Boba Fett armor.
Say
But
you figured you're in the middle of nowhere, and these stripes indicate I'm the marshal of said territories. Now,
This
I don't
desert
know
planet
whether
ain't big enough for the
with
4 of us.
authorities in Mos Espa, and let's be honest, in Mos Eisley anything goes. But out here, I'm the one tells folks what to do.
So is this turning into a full-on, like, Western
I
standoff
didn't see
movie?
what's in that chest. And consequently, no laws have been broken, as far as I'm concerned. Think it through.
Your funeral.
can't believe the Pike are so easy to kill.
Makes you wonder how they have such an iron grip on, like, the crime syndicate in the universe.
Anyone gets lost running spice through Mos Pelgo again will be lost forever. Now unload that chest and go. Considered a fine for trespassing.
It's worth more than your town.
Well, then maybe I'll retire.
The Pikes are easily scared, but they'll be back and in greater numbers. If he were smart, he would have run him over with a speeder. Now who's gonna clean that up?
New armor. Time to loot.
Looting.
Spice.
Mm.
Oh!
Suddenly I felt the shudder of 1,000 crackheads as they cried out and were suddenly silenced. See, he's enjoying his new ride. So we are going with him to find Grogu. Should he put a tracker on Grogu? Like, he doesn't even know where he is.
Hi, R2.
R2?
He did show up at the end of the season of Mandalorian.
True. I remember
with
now.
the PTSD.
He's like, oh no,
Hello.
you.
I'm looking for Skywalker.
Nobody sees Skywalker, nobody not know how.
I came to see the kid. Grogu?
Doesn't ring a bell. Oh wait, is that the one with the seagulls? Right this way. Oh, so are they on Achu, or is that a different planet?
Could be.
I guess the first Jedi temple. Aren't you gonna put like mortar or something to make the stones stick together? It's kind of shoddy workmanship. So where did Luke get all of these worker droids?
Hey. Droid. Hey,
Artur, did you like?
don't shut off.
Aren't you just kind of space out there again?
Is that a bench? How long will I be waiting?
This looks like fun. A
Anyone
bench.
here? Anyone alive?
Figures are too, like, just turns off at the most inopportune moment. Gotta admit, he's dedicated to keeping Luke's secrets, though. In fact, keeping all of the Skywalker family secrets. Yes, very beautiful scenery. 10 hours later.
Hi, Grogu.
Aw. There he is. Ooh, lunch.
Noms.
Use the Force. Yep. There he goes. Come to my mouth. What a slow, agonizing death this is for the frog.
Grogu.
I ran out of macaroons. That's it. The CGI looks pretty good on him here. Whoever they got for Luke. Oh, Luke, you made me lose my lunch.
Go stand.
All the frogs are like, what is going on? We're
I am
being
disappointed.
raptured.
I am disappointed you only tried to take one.
And Grogu's like, looks like frogs back on the menu, boys.
Is a buffet.
Chow time. Which one of you will be my victim? Aw.
The Luke giveth, and the Luke taketh away.
Oh, he's so cute when he waddles.
His name was Yoda. He was small like you, but his heart was huge.
He's making the use of the Force to make him bounce about. It's so cute.
Hop.
He once said to me, size matters not.
That is true.
That's how he talked. He would speak in riddles.
Please don't be like that.
Have you heard anyone talk like that back home? Would you like to remember?
He's gonna do one of those, like, mind meld things.
Let me help you remember.
Remember who you are.
So I guess we're getting Grogu backstory now?
That night.
I saw a man kill my fellow younglings, and he looked a lot like you! I still don't understand how Jedi lost to clones. I understand it was a sneak attack, but still.
Welcome back.
Thanks for making me relive that.
Thanks for bringing up my trauma, jerk! Well, that was a nice entry in the Book of Boba Fett. Oh my god. And Mando's just sitting there staring, waiting for his story to resume.
Oh, hey, Ahsoka.
Ahsoka!
You.
Hey.
I didn't expect to see you here.
We're bringing in the Ahsoka series, huh?
We're just bringing everybody from The Mandalorian, or who had an appearance in The Mandalorian.
Master Lucas.
The whole mixer.
And what are you doing here? I'm here to see the kid.
That's why R2 brought you to me instead.
I'd like to know how he's doing.
He's doing fine.
Until he sensed you.
I want to see him.
Until the Fire Nation attacks.
Let us take a walk.
Have a seat.
This is a long explanation just to say no, right?
And now R2 comes back on.
So that means Luke and Ahsoka met then?
Your attachment to Grogu would be difficult to let go of. There is no place in the galaxy more safe than here with Luke.
For
I don't
now.
understand why you're alright with Skywalker's decision to train the kid when you wouldn't.
Because it was his choice. I don't control the wants of others.
Then it's my choice to go and see him.
Plus, technically, she's not a
Of
master.
course. Are you doing this for Grogu? Or are you doing this for yourself?
I want to give him this.
Why? So he will remember you.
No. As a Mandalorian foundling, he should have this. It's his right.
Foundling. Perhaps he is a Padawan now.
Still was a foundling, though. I mean, it kind of counts.
Well, either way, this armor will protect him.
Certainly hope so.
If that's the case, that would make him like the second Mandalorian to
Turned
become a
Jedi,
Jedi, yeah.
I came all this way. He's right there.
Grogu misses you a great deal. If he sees you, it will only make things more difficult for him.
I mean, I hate to say it, but yeah.
I mean, at least you get to see him.
Yeah. You know he's doing well.
Yeah.
I wanted to see him in the tiny armor.
I'm sure we'll get to.
Yeah.
Also, shouldn't Ahsoka recognize what it is, given she gave the Beskar to Mando?
I suppose. Carries around a little baby carrier.
Some things never change.
Alright. It's time to continue your training.
You know they're gonna make a toy of that now.
Oh, of course.
Let's see you jump.
Run, and jump. Aww!
Jump, good.
Bend down. Jump. And as you do, feel the force flow through you.
He's in the force jump then. Oh.
You're trying too hard. Don't try.
Do.
Do.
Run, jump. I could be your backpack while you run. Swing from a hairy vine. I could be your backpack while you climb. So you did the same jump. With your special gift. Run.
Give me down.
Excuse you?
Parkour.
Now that bamboo's really holding his weight well. Then again, he's using the
Wide world
force.
exists in balance. Through the force, you will find balance as well.
Theoretically. Oh,
Use the force.
don't let him fall.
If he falls, Luke's right there using the force.
I know, but it's like watching a little baby try to walk. It's like, it's a little upsetting. Aww.
Better.
Show off.
It's a real shame you couldn't do this training with Rey. That would have been nice to see.
He was too busy being dark and brooding.
Last time I trained a student, everybody died.
But
He's
I
got
almost
that.
killed them.
This is a training remote.
I don't get it. I thought that was just some junk they found on Han's ship, and now suddenly it's a training tool. Aww.
No, that isn't how it works.
I kicked the ball. Is this gonna like shoot him with lasers?
I know, right?
Oh!
Jerk.
Get back up. Always get back up.
He doesn't even have a lightsaber!
Or, you know, a weapon of any kind.
If you could dodge a wrench, you could dodge a laser.
Very good.
Impressive.
Oh, let him jump! Oh! A little bunny rabbit. Up. Oh. Up. So this is basically a Piccolo training Gohan. Dodge! The moment so many fans waited for. This. Take that ball.
Good.
He's like, that was my only ball.
It's more like he's remembering that I'm actually teaching him anything.
How do I get off the
Student
rock?
guides the master.
Sometimes I wonder if his heart is in it.
So much like your father.
Careful with that.
Yeah, careful what that means
Yeah.
exactly. Aww. You sheepy.
He's had a long day.
Will I see you again?
If I jumped that much, I'd be friggin' winded.
Perhaps. May the force be with you.
And also with you.
Aww. I'm just gonna lay on this rock for a while.
Alright, back to Tatooine.
Meanwhile, back at the plot. Only how long are we in? 20 minutes? 25 minutes. That's half the episode right there.
More than that.
Hey, do you have any fruit to declare?
Beat me to it.
I'm here at the request of Fennec Shand.
Mayor Marchese is on their payroll and has flown off-world, which leads us to believe the storm is about to break.
It was a scheduled vacation, actually.
Shouldn't you be imprisoned?
Yeah, why is he there?
Yeah.
I know he's not gonna fight back, but still.
Here's a map of where they are gathering, based on whispers. This is the Mandalorian Din Djarin.
So,
Thanks to him and Chrysanthemum, we now have enough experienced muscle to act as enforcers. We need foot soldiers.
I might be able to help with that.
is that the Kite Dragon's skull? Jesus, what won't those things loot? Gotta admit, that's pretty badass to have him like a hood of your vehicle. He's like, fuck you, Jawas. I assume that's some sort of Jawa cursing.
You want to park your starship, you gotta do it out there in the flat.
I'm looking for Marshal Vanth.
I don't think you heard what I said.
I heard you.
I'll take it from here, Deputy. He's new. Still a bit jumpy. Is that an Naboo starfighter?
Your people are good fighters, and there's plenty of credits in it for them, too.
The piece is intact, Mando. We took out that dragon. My people don't want to fight no more.
Is that its
Your
rib
town
cage
might
in
be good
there?
for now, but it's all part of the same planet. We need good people to step up, or the spice is bound to come through these parts. Mos Pelgo might be good right now.
Freetown.
What?
It's called Freetown now.
We changed the name. It suits us better.
Well, I fought side by side with the citizens of Freetown, and they're brave people. And the Pike Syndicate has us outnumbered, and we need your help.
The town wants no part of it. That's a city full of fight.
We don't take kindly to folks like that in these parts.
Marshal. But I didn't think you were one to back down from bullies.
See, that's what I like about you, Mando. That big smile of yours lets you get away with anything. Things are tough around here. But I'll see what I can do.
Maybe I can round up a posse.
I mean, he already knows that they're having trouble with spice runners, so you think he would take that into consideration.
Get the word out. I want all men and women of fighting age to come to town.
Oh boy. Wait.
Boy, does he fit the motif.
Afternoon, Marshal.
Just
Is
right
that
around
who I
Assassin.
think it is?
And he's wearing the hat.
I'm not leaving you out here alone.
Get inside.
No.
Yep.
No.
Yes. Search your feelings, you know it to be true.
Motherfucker! God damn it! Cad motherfucking Bane. You motherfucker. Let me guess, he's working for the Pikes.
Whatever Fett is paying you, we'll match. And all you've got to do is stay put and let things play out.
Hey, the Marshal ain't for sale.
Told you to get inside.
Fucking newbie.
Boba Fett is a cold-blooded killer who worked for the Empire.
I mean, that is true.
He
Tell
did
your
work
service runners Tatooine's closed
for
business.
the Empire, but
I had seen enough violence.
You should have never given up your armor.
that's possible.
Oh boy. Doo-doo-doo-doo. Wah, wah, wah. Doo-doo-doo-doo. This is such a Western. So who's the good, who's the bad, who's the ugly?
Somebody about to die.
Yep. I feel like it's that guy. Yep. Yeah, that dumb fuck was dying. He shot the Marshal too. I liked him.
Tatooine belongs to the Syndicate. As long as the spice keeps running, everyone will be left alone.
Well, at least they have a reason now to help Boba. Fucking figures Cad Bane would be siding with the Pikes. Motherfucker.
Also, frankly, why would Cad Bane even care?
They're probably paying him. He's
I
probably
mean,
their
no,
enforcement.
excuse me. Why would Cad Bane care that Boba was working with the Empire?
I mean, technically, we never saw Cad Bane align with anyone from the Empire. Heck, he tried to, like, capture the Senate.
In fact, last time we saw him, Cad Bane was basically doing a job for the Empire.
I don't think he knew he was.
I mean, indirectly, but
Yeah.
still.
That was before Palpatine took over, right?
Nope. That was after. That was the Bad Batch.
Oh, right. I mean, he was just capturing a bounty. He wasn't going specifically for the Empire. Uh-oh, something blew
It was
up.
for the Empire's interests, even if it was directly for Kamino, but...
They finished that quick. Aww! His little tiny chainmail!
The
Aw.
Mandalorian wanted you to have this.
Wait a minute, did he steal Bilbo's mesh armor? Thief.
But before you take it, I will give you a choice.
Oh.
This is a lightsaber.
Is that Yoda's lightsaber?
Maybe.
It belonged to my teacher,
I guess
Master
so.
Yoda.
Yep.
Weird, considering we never saw him use his lightsaber in the
I'm
original
offering
movies.
it to you.
I guess he just stowed it away. So you're making him choose?
If you choose the armor, you'll return to your friend, the Mandalorian. However, you will be giving into attachment to those that you love, and forsaking the way of the Jedi. But if you choose the lightsaber, you will be the first student in my academy, and I will train you to be a great Jedi. It will take you many years to master the ways of the Force, and you may never see the Mandalorian again. Because, Grogu, a short time for you is a lifetime for someone else.
So he can just pick up again on it later. Luke, you realize doing this is what led to your father going to the dark side, right?
Which do you choose?
We'll find out next time on The Mandalorian. I mean Clone Wars. I mean Star Wars. I mean... What the fuck are we even watching again?
Forgot Ahsoka.
Oh yeah, Ahsoka too. What is even this episode?
I mean, technically, at least we got back to the Book of Boba Fett.
For like 5
Yeah.
minutes.
So does that mean that Grogu's going to abandon being a Jedi and come to the aid of Boba?
Well, obviously. I mean, come on. It's like Luke said, given how long his lifespan is, he can easily go back to Mando, spend the rest of Mando's natural life with him, and then pick up being a Jedi again. And there's like no time would have passed. Besides, you really think that they're gonna pass on a chance to get their best mascot back into the Mandalorian? I mean, come on. Tiny chainmail is so cute. I like question though how you make some heavy ass like metal like Beskar into chainmail. I mean, I guess very carefully. Oh my god, this freaking episode! I don't even know what to say about it. Do I praise it? Do I critique it? Do I just accept it? I don't know whether to be happy or mad or like... There's like so many things just going on in my head right now.
Yeah, further proof that they really have no faith in Book of Boba Fett to let it stand on its own. We basically have to throw in all the characters from Mandalorian and the Clone Wars. I mean, at least you had, Cob Vanth making things a little interesting there, even if it was potentially his swan song. They didn't necessarily say that he died.
True.
It could be implied.
Could be like, he could be like Fennec and they bring him back as like a
I would say for
sheriff.
certain the deputy is dead.
Oh yeah. His stupidity was leading him toward death.
I mean, Cad Bane only shot Cobb once. He shot the deputy multiple times, making absolutely sure he went down.
Alright, well let's break this down arc by arc. Probably like segment by segment. So yeah, as you said, in regards to the Marshal, that I felt was appropriate for this, because at least it takes place on Tatooine, and it would make sense that they want to incorporate that town as part of the army, because we saw them fight before. They saw them take down the Pike Dragon. So if they can do that, they could certainly fight against the Syndicate. That makes sense. Even bringing Mando in to negotiate, I mean, they know him, and technically they owe him. So yeah, again, that makes sense. And it was cool seeing the Marshal be all badass and stuff, even if I did think he took down the Pikes a little too easily.
Yeah.
But then again, they said fucking Cad Bane after them. Oh my god. So yeah, I went on a whole rant in our Bad Batch show about how much I fucking hate Cad Bane. Because I think he's a fucking Gary Stu that wins even when it doesn't make sense. He's just a bounty hunter who happens to be good with weapons and with hunting. And somehow he's able to, like, best Jedi. That just does not make sense to me.
Like I said, he's like Grand Admiral Thrawn levels of untouchable.
Yeah, but at least that guy was smart.
Yes.
You could see how he'd be able to best his enemies, even if they were clearly more powerful than him. With Cad Bane, he's just a fucking cowboy!
Mm-hmm.
And then this fucker was able to capture and hold the Senate hostage. He was able to break into the Jedi Temple back when there was thousands of Jedis all over the place. And he beat both Anakin and Obi-Wan on multiple occasions. And throughout it all, this fucker still lives. I don't understand. And the thing was, like, I heard people theorizing that, oh, they're going to bring back Cad Bane because Boba needs muscle and he's probably going to call on, like, bounty hunters he knew and yada, yada, yada. But I didn't expect him to bring him back this way. And of course, he has to be on the enemy side because he is always on the enemy side, even when it doesn't make sense.
And he survived the original trilogy.
Oh my god, I have no fucking clue how that happened. Oh, and furthermore, just to add insult to injury, Fennec almost killed him.
Yep.
She's one of the few characters that came close to killing him. And now they're going to be facing each other in this war.
Maybe she'll finish the job.
Oh my god, please. I've been waiting so fucking long. Clone Wars, it took us so long to get through Clone Wars, and the whole time I just was like seething in my hatred for this character, just waiting for the episode where they finally offed him, and it never comes. And then he shows up in Bad Batch, and I'm like, motherfucker! But wait, maybe they'll kill him off in this? No! Ugh. So maybe this will finally be the point where they take him down. Please. And the thing is, like, when I first did my rant about it, this was before we finished Clone Wars, so I didn't see all of his episodes. The last episode I saw him in Clone Wars, I actually did gain a bit of respect for him, where, you know, he had to work alongside Obi-Wan, who was in disguise, and the guy actually acted honorably for, like, an instant, so I'm like, okay, I might respect this character a little more, but I still want him dead.
He's too damn perfect, he needs to die.
Yes.
I mean, granted, he has slipped a couple times.
Right.
But
he has failed on occasion, but it's never been anything too massive.
But it's like, there are times where he very clearly should have bit it. And yet he's pulled from the brink.
Nothing can kill me, I'm Cad Bane! Oh my fucking god, like... That being said, I did like the whole build-up, like the whole reference to the good, the bad, and the ugly, which, given he's basically Clint Eastwood, but a blue alien, yeah, it was perfect.
It's like, finally, this, you know, showcases his motif.
Yeah.
This works for him.
Because no matter what situation, he always wore the hat.
Yeah.
He even, like, killed a guy and stole his hat. I will say, though, now that I'm watching this, I find it really ironic. Because remember back in the 50s how Westerns were all the rage, and then Sputnik happened, and suddenly we had all these space shows in the 60s and stuff, so they were always complaining how space shows killed the Western. Now space shows have become the Western.
Why, yes, I was aware of that, Stinky Pete.
I mean, it's appropriate when you think about it. They've merged into one. We have become one! So there's that segment. Then we get to the segment with Mando. And
/ Luke and Grogu.
Yeah. I had said this last episode. I had an inkling this might happen where he goes to find Grogu. And I was going to say I was probably going to be pissed off that they showed that. Because again, this is not something that we need to see in Boba Fett. This is something we need to see in The Mandalorian, depending on what direction they take it in. And I mean, it kind of went sort of how I thought it would, because I didn't expect him to take Grogu back, because that wouldn't have made sense for this. Like, granted, this whole thing already doesn't kind of make sense, all the stuff they're elaborating on, but him taking Grogu back, especially when he's in the midst of his training with Luke, that definitely wouldn't fly.
No.
And they had to bring friggin' Ahsoka in just to, like, nail that fact into him. And, like, I get it. You know, they were close. He wants to make sure he's okay, and he wants to give him what he rightfully earned. But I can see why they would just keep them apart for now. Although I'm wondering if Grogu does choose the armor and goes off to find him? How's he going to do that?
Use the Force.
I know, but is Luke going to drop him off with Mando? Is Grogu just going to hitchhike his way to where Mando is?
I wonder if... Because freaking Luke seems to have all of Yoda's stuff. And remember, in a deleted scene, there was a ship, and in fact, I think even in Clone Wars they showed that Yoda has basically his own, like, pod ship. So it's entirely possible that Luke has possession of that pod ship.
I think that'd be old as hell. Probably, like, rotted to hell, too, given he had it in a friggin' swamp.
I find it funny. It's like a Daniel and Mr. Miyagi situation.
I was thinking that the whole friggin' time I was watching this, because I'm like, why am I getting such Cobra Kai vibes from this?
It's like he probably has restored everything that belonged to Yoda, including, you know, the pod ship, including the lightsaber.
Yeah. Yeah, so. I mean, Yoda pretty much hoarded everything in his hut on that planet, so I assume once he died, Luke just took everything. I mean, why not? I mean, it's the only real artifacts he has left of, like, the former Jedi Order, so, aside from whatever Ahsoka has. I mean, it was nice to see the beginning of the temple, which Kylo Ren will inevitably destroy. I liked this training segment with them.
Yes.
It was very nice callback to Empire Strikes Back and everything. It was a lot of fun.
Yep.
Again, I just wish it happened in the Mandalorian. I mean,
or at least like the Ahsoka series when it happens.
Yeah, I mean, even if this was tied into the Ahsoka series, it would have made more sense.
Honestly, this feels like, especially given that we've already established in here that Luke and Ahsoka have met, that leads me to believe that the Ahsoka series is going to tie into that period, and they will meet. They'll have their formal introduction in the Ahsoka series.
I hope so, because, like, as glad as I was to finally see Ahsoka and Luke together for, like, the first time in any medium, I really wish they would have had the introduction proper, because you would think that'd be a big emotional moment for Ahsoka, because Luke's one of the only things left she has of her former master. Her seeing him be seen like, you're just like your father, I mean, and I know that's both a good and a bad thing, but it's still an emotional thing, too, especially given, you know, what happened the last time she saw him. I do hope they kind of expand on that in this series a bit. It would have just been nice to see, just from a fan's perspective and wants and everything. And I still think making him choose is dumb. And I get it, Luke's not going to be around forever to teach him, but you make the assumption that he'd teach enough Jedi where his apprentices would go on to become masters and then Grogu could learn on later from him. Because Mando, I don't think is going to live that long, especially given his profession.
Let's see.
So, I mean, it really wouldn't be that big a deal for Grogu to just, you know, go spend time with you know, his father figure and then come back. I don't see why this has to be an ultimatum. And again, look what happened when they made Anakin choose between being a Jedi and being with the person he loved, and he attempted to do both.
And as we said, this has the potential to make another Mandalorian Jedi, which has not happened in ages.
Yep. And I mean, honestly, when I think about it, I don't even see how that's possible. Mm-hmm. Like, something tells me that Vizsla must have left his training early because their whole culture, being with a group, being with a family in solidarity, and then having to be a Jedi and forsake all attachment, I don't see how that meshes. And I don't know if, like, he didn't know he was a Mandalorian at first when he's trained to become a Jedi, or if he did and he attempted to become a Jedi but had to leave due to confliction of cultures or whatever. But I'd like to know how the hell that worked exactly.
Yeah, that's a series we need, is Vizsla.
I mean, just to see a Mandalorian wielding a lightsaber. People have been dreaming of that with Boba Fett, but we didn't get that.
I mean, let's face it, we've got a whole culture based on the fact that Vizsla commanded this respect, that he was able to become a Jedi, able to lead his people, his Mandalorians, and that it's not just any particular tribe of Mandalore that follows him, it's like all of Mandalore.
And that's a big feat when you consider that Mandalorians hated Jedi. They had a whole war over it. Mandalorians went out of their way to use weapons specifically to hurt Jedi. So the fact that they revere one of their own, that's really saying something. And then I guess we could go on to the last bit, which is the actual plot of Boba Fett. Yeah, we have 5 minutes of them at a table discussing their plans. Gee, where have we seen that before? Yeah, we see all the players at hand. We know who they're trying to bring in. At this point, it's just more of them talking about adding to their numbers.
Honestly, one thing that is bugging me is that Book of Boba Fett, particularly these past 2 episodes, they have been padding things out so much with establishing shots, with landing a ship and getting off the ship and reporting to people. We don't need to see all of this.
I mean, I get it for, like, the real hardcore nerds who want to, like, catalog all of, like, the ship details and, like, the landscapes of each planet and stuff.
I'll give you that.
But at the same time, from a show-watching perspective, yeah, that is needless.
It really
needless
slows
padding.
everything down.
It's like watching Star Trek The Motion Picture with them slowly putting the ship into the docking bay. It's like, we do not need to spend 20 minutes watching this.
There's only so much time I can take taking in the scenery before I'm like, okay, let's move on.
Like, they were spending so much time in, like, the bamboo forest. I'm like, is this going to turn into Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon? I mean, it was nice, don't get me wrong. And it's nice to see them actually using, like, legit sets, legit prosthetics, like the old Star Wars, like, practical effects, actual droids, not all this immense CGI bullshit. And even the CGI bullshit they do use is pretty good.
Yep.
So, like, I don't mind that. I'm glad to see that they are getting so much better with all that. But again, from a storytelling perspective, this just drags it down.
I could get over the fact that we're not really watching Book of Boba Fett. I could give back a few points if not for the fact that it really drags on, and by that time, we're not actually watching Book of Boba Fett.
No, like I said, we incorporated stuff from the Clone Wars, we incorporated stuff from Bad Batch, we incorporated stuff from the original series, we incorporated stuff from The Mandalorian, heck, we might even potentially incorporate stuff from Ahsoka. But there's, like, all of this in a big hodgepodge with only this much Book of Boba Fett mixed into it. It's like, I know there are, like, in terms of comics, there are a lot of issues out there that basically act as a branch between 2 series for the sake of crossover, for the sake of setting up for the crossover. But this is just taking it way too far, because at least when Mandalorian did it, they dedicated each episode to its own potential crossover. It wasn't just, let's throw everything all at once and see what sticks.
And hell, at least with the first season of Mandalorian, it's basically its own thing. They rely very little on fan service.
Yeah, I mean, most of the planets we go to, we don't even know about. Like, we had the obligatory Tatooine episode, but everything else was brand new. We saw new cultures, new species, new types of technology. It really did establish itself. And I get you can't exactly do that with Boba Fett because he's an established character, but there's still a lot more they could have done, and they're just choosing not to do it in favor of focusing on the other stuff.
It just feels like 5 episodes in, we've already lost interest in the titular character.
It's like, okay, we saw his flashbacks, we saw how he got from point A to point B, we see that he's healed, I guess that's it. All we have is the final battle, and then he can just sit comfortably on his throne and we can just forget about him. That's honestly what it feels like at this point. So, again, to reiterate, I don't think this was a bad episode. I think there were many, many good points in this, despite my rage at seeing Cad Bane again. As we said in the last episode, it is not a Book of Boba Fett episode. It is padded, it is incredibly imbalanced, and I am now genuinely concerned for, like, the final episode. I mean, there's only 1 episode left, right?
Yep.
If that doesn't focus on the whole big conflict, I don't know, I consider this a failure, in my opinion. Because it's like, what does the Book of Boba Fett even mean? Maybe he was cataloging his adventures, what led him to becoming the leader of Tatooine or something, but we're focusing on the side stuff, so it's like, did he incorporate that into the book, too? How did you know about the parts you weren't there for?
You know, the Book of Boba Fett would imply that we're seeing his life. I think I've said this before, but there's so much that we didn't see in the movies. We get, like, books, but, you know, for the general movie and maybe TV watching public, it's like, you still see so very little of them. And they have this potential to really tap into that, to really show more of his life, of why we should care. And they have, thus far, failed phenomenally at doing that.
You know what this really should have been? This should have been a 90-minute special. This should have been a 90-minute special, no focusing on the other characters, just strictly starting with his flashback, going up to the present time, then jumping onto the part where he becomes the leader, and then showing him trying to enforce everything. I feel like if you cut out a good chunk of the padding, as well as all the episodes that featured other side character stuff, this could easily be a 90-minute film. Like, easily. Like, not even like theatrical release, just a special on Disney Plus. Just that, and it would have worked just fine. And that's depending on how the ending goes. But yeah,
I think
this should not have been a series.
In fact, I think, wasn't this originally supposed to be a movie? Wasn't this supposed to follow in the footsteps of Solo and, be Boba Fett, a Star Wars story? I'm assuming they had that script and then Disney made them turn it into a full-fledged series, and they didn't have really enough material to make it a full-fledged series, and they just kind of threw in The Mandalorian just to pad out the word count.
I'm inclined to believe anything at this point, because honestly, a lot of stuff we've seen, some worked for a TV series, others could have been told in like 3 episodes or less. But this is one of them.
Yeah, tell us in the comments if I'm right or not. I'm interested.
Yeah, I don't know, like, the progress, the backstory of all this, how if it was in development hell or whatever, but all I know is that right now this is massively disappointing us in terms of its focus character. I mean, don't get me wrong, like I said, all the other side stuff is perfectly fine. I would love it if it was in another series, but for now, like... We'll have to wait and see for the last episode, where we have the grand finale, and see if Boba Fett will take over Tatooine once and for all. So, until then, I'm Kat MacBerrie.
I'm Doug MacBerrie.
And fuck you, Cad Bane! Fuck you, Cad Bane!